Stinkpot Turtle, also called the Common Musk Turtle. They're small, quirky, and one of the most underrated pet turtles in the world. But don't be fooled. Just because they're tiny doesn't mean that they're easy. In fact, if you don't know what you're doing, you could end up with a sick turtle or a tank disaster. That's why in this video, I'm going to share 15 must-know facts that will make or break your experience with a Stinkpot Turtle. From how long they live, to their secret personalities, to the tank mistakes beginners always make, this is the ultimate care guide no one told you about. Some of these will surprise you, especially fact number 3 and fact number 12 might just be the deal breaker. Let's dive in. These turtles have musk glands that can release a foul smell known as phenolphthaleinic acid when they feel threatened. That's where the name Stinkpot comes from, and it's generally located here. The good news is, if you keep them in a stress-free environment, most pet stinkpots rarely use it. Still, it's something worth knowing before you bring one home. Imagine getting a turtle and later finding out it literally comes with a built-in stink defense. Over the years though, my stinkpots have never really used this defense mechanism, even when handled. My turtles, Chloe and Bucket, both have very different personalities. Chloe doesn't mind being picked up and just tucks her head inside her shell, while Bucket tends to snap a little. Neither of them releases that odor anymore. Does that come with trust and comfort? Maybe. It's one of those little mysteries that makes keeping turtles so interesting. Quick question for you guys. Would the name Stinkpot Turtle make you more interested in owning one, or less? Comment below, I'm curious. One of the biggest appeals of stinkpots is their size. Most turtles grow huge. Sliders and painted turtles reach about 10 to 12 inches. Stinkpots? They usually stay small, only about 3 to 5 inches fully grown. And they're much easier to manage in apartments, smaller homes, or even city living. They're perfect for people who don't want a pet that takes a ton of space. But here's the catch. Small doesn't mean easy, and it definitely doesn't mean low maintenance. And fact number 3 is going to prove that. These turtles may be small, but they live a long time. In captivity, a well-cared-for stinkpot turtle can live anywhere from 30 to even 50 years. That means that getting one isn't a short-term project. It's a decades-long commitment. If you're thinking about buying one, ask yourself, am I really ready for a pet that could live longer than my dog or cat? Stick around because fact number 7 is the one that most owners get wrong even without realizing it. Unlike sliders that love to swim, stinkpots are actually poor swimmers. Their short legs and heavy shells make them prefer walking along the bottom of the shallow water. If you fill their tank too deep without platforms or resting spots, they can literally drown. Sounds dramatic, but it happens. Here's a fun fact though. Stinkpots can absorb some oxygen underwater through tiny papillae in their tongue, but their main source of oxygen still comes from their lungs. They're not fish with gills. That's why shallow water setups with rocks, logs, and ramps are perfect for them. You'll need at least a 20-gallon tank for one stinkpot, though bigger is always better. The more space, the cleaner and healthier the environment will be. I personally keep mine in a 31.4 by 15.7 water box clear mini 30 rimless tank, a 30-gallon for 2 stinkpots. Honestly, I wish I could go larger, but living in a small NYC apartment has its limits. Make sure to add hiding spots, rocks, caves, driftwood. Stinkpots feel much safer when they have cover, and a bare tank with no hiding places will just stress them out. Now let's talk about what actually works best. My honest opinion, sand is natural. It doesn't cause compaction issues like gravel, and it's easy to clean, cheap to replace, and looks great. Pair it with river rocks or cereal stones, and you've got one of the top choices for a natural setup. As for driftwood, you can't really go wrong with Malaysian or Mopani wood. Both look beautiful and provide great structure for your turtles. Fact number 6 is a revelation, and yes, it's brutal as it sounds. Here's a common mistake first-time turtle keepers make, and it's an important one. Keeping turtle is not the same as freshwater aquascaping. These turtles will tear up plants, no exceptions. Most plants stand no chance. From my experience, putting plants in a stinkpot tank is usually a waste of time. The only exception is if you have a fully planted freshwater tank and want to offer some plants as an occasional snack, that's fine. Yes, stinkpots can survive freezing New York waters thanks to a crazy superpower called brumation. Think of it like hibernation, but smarter. They slow their metabolism, stop eating to clear out their digestive system, rely on fat reserves, and barely move, all to survive winter. Insane, right? But here's the catch. In your tank, they thrive between 72 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit for adults, 78 to 80 for juveniles. Too cold and their metabolism grinds to a halt. Too hot and you're inviting infections. Basking? Start by putting your light 10 inches above the surface, then check with a laser thermometer to hit 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Adjust as needed. Even if they act like they don't care at first, that warm zone is vital. My Stinkpots used to ignore it, but now they take turns basking every single day. Seriously, this one fact can make or break your turtle's health, and it's the #1 mistake I see beginners make. Don't skip it. Even if they don't bask often, UVB light is non-negotiable. Without it, turtles can't process calcium, which leads to weak shells and metabolic bone disease. Think of it this way. UVB is like vitamins for turtles. You might not see the damage right away, but skipping it can dramatically shorten their lifespan. Also, remember to replace your UVB heat lamp bulbs every 10 to 12 months. Stinkpots are omnivores, which means they eat both meat and plants. Their diet can include turtle pellets, worms, mealworms, shrimps, snails, insects, feeder fish, and some greens. Some of these even come as dried foods in a bottle. Here's the funny part. They're messy eaters. They'll bite into food and let the scraps float around the tank. So you'll definitely need to stay hands-on with cleaning.
Another thing to know, if you keep a freshwater tank as a second hobby, you can toss in some snails as snacks for your turtles.
Just be careful with trumpet snails. Their sharp shells can cause trouble. Pro tip, feed them in a separate container of water if you want to keep the main tank cleaner. That said, they'll still poop everywhere. Every Stinkpot turtle is different. Some are shy and hide all the time, while others become bold and curious. They're not as interactive as dogs or cats. Many will recognize their owners and even swim up to the tank at feeding time. Watching their unique little quirks is one of the joys of keeping them. That said, my turtles seem to get excited whenever someone is in front of the tank. So who knows? I'm not a turtle mind reader. Bonus fact. While Stinkpots are technically nocturnal in the wild, don't be surprised when your little friend is active all day in your tank, especially when they know it's feeding time. Brace yourself. This next fact will blow your mind. These turtles are way faster and sneakier than you think. Biggest warning, Stinkpots are expert climbers. Keep driftwood and rocks away from the edges. They can jump out, fall, and get hurt. True story. While I was in South Korea for 3 months, my wife called. One turtle was missing. Somehow it had climbed out of the tank during water change and was gone for 5 days. We found it under the cabinet, crusted in white stuff, but alive. No food, no water, it survived. Lesson learned. Never underestimate these little escape artists. Keep everything away from the rim of the tank. Some people try adding fish or snails into their Stinkpot tank. The truth? Stinkpots are opportunistic hunters. If it fits in their mouth, they'll probably eat it. I did have a pleco with mine once, and it actually had a symbiotic relationship with the turtles. The pleco would clean their shells while they stood perfectly still. The plecos get huge, so I eventually had to move them to another tank. Bottom line, community tanks usually fail. It's usually best to keep Stinkpots solo, or only with extreme caution. Even with other turtles of the same species, things can get tricky. 2 females like mine usually do fine. I say usually with caution, but a male and female, or 2 males, can spell trouble. They're okay as babies, but once puberty hits and hormone spikes, males can get aggressive. That's not the only challenge you'll face keeping Stinkpots. 13 must be taken seriously. The biggest issues Stinkpots face are shell rot from dirty water, respiratory infections from cold water, and obesity from overeating. The good news? Almost all of these can be prevented with proper water quality, the right diet, and temperature control. So Bucket here's got 2 black spots on its neck. Probably wondering, what is that? Don't worry though, it's totally normal. As long as the spots aren't raised, fuzzy, or crusty, or red and swollen, it's not a fungal or bacterial thing. Sometimes if it looks a little shiny or uneven, it could just be an old scar. But honestly, with common musk turtles like Bucket, these dark patches just show up as they grow. It's part of their natural markings. Flat, smooth, nothing to worry about. And if they're still eating, swimming, and acting like themselves, they're perfectly fine. You need a strong filter. Canister filters work best, and regular water changes if you want any hope of keeping the tank clean. Roll with a hang-up-back filter if you prefer the ease of use. Weekly maintenance is a lot easier, and if you're already doing water changes every week and full clean every month, you'll want something simple that actually works. Hang-on-back gets the job done. No drama. Sure, hardcore fans will stick with canisters, and that's totally cool, but this works just fine. Canister filters provide space for biofiltration. You can add carbon, biomedia, and sponge filters without the hassle, all neatly stored underneath your tank. They're also much quieter than hang-on-back filters, especially when the tank is only filled halfway. Keep their water clean, and you'll dodge 90% of the headaches these turtles love to throw at you. Messy? Yes. Worth it? Absolutely. Pro tip, don't let your turtle tank turn into swamp water. Throw in a circulation pump. Fluval, Hydor, Equion, Coral Life, whatever works. It doesn't need to be a hurricane, just enough flow to keep things moving and fresh. How do you tell if your stinkpot's a boy or a girl? The easiest way is to look at the tail. Males have a longer, thicker tail with the vent, or cloaca, extending past the edge of the shell. Just to be clear, you guys know what I mean by vent, right? It's the butthole. Females, on the other hand, have a much shorter tail, and their vent is tucked closer to the body, right under the edge of the shell. You can also check the plastron, that's the bottom of the shell. Males usually have a slight curve, while females have a flatter plastron for holding eggs. Just keep in mind you can't really tell when they're babies. You usually have to wait until at least they're 2 or 3 inches long before it's obvious. So yeah, longer tail and further vent, that's a male. Shorter tail and closer vent, that's a female. Pretty simple once you know what you're looking for. Stinkpots aren't for everyone. They're not cuddly, they're messy, and they demand decades of care. We're talking 30 to 50 years. But if you're ready for that kind of commitment, you'll discover one of the hardest, most fascinating little turtles in the hobby. They've got grit, they got personality, they stand out in the world of red ear sliders. At the end of the day, Stinkpot Turtle isn't just another pet, it's a story you get to live alongside for a long time. So those are the 15 things you need to know before getting a Stinkpot Turtle. Which facts surprised you the most? Was it 3 about their long lifespan, or 11 about their climbing abilities? Drop it in the comments below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If this video helped you, hit like so more turtle lovers can find it. And don't forget to subscribe for more pet turtle care guides and aquarium tips.